It's pretty cool when you wake up in the morning and you kind of know what your mission is, you know what you're about, you know what your thing is. And that's been something that's eluded me for a lot of time. But there are times when it's clearer and there are times when it comes and goes. Well, I'm happy today because I've got a real clear hit on it. And it's something that's been growing for about the last 2 years, and I want to tell you a little bit about it. So, one of the things that I've been doing and engaging for the last 30 years or so is embracing with people through the Phoenix Rising method or the Phoenix Rising yoga therapy training, ways in which people can change by engaging their body and being present to themselves in different ways. And back then, back in 1986, when we started that, I knew that that worked because basically I had some experiences that said that it worked. I had a few times where I'd really got involved and engaged in a yoga practice, got into a level of presence with myself through my body, where I got new insights and new awarenesses that just seemed to come from nowhere and were very significant and life changing. You can, in fact, read the story about one of those in my first book, Phoenix Rising Bridge from Body to Soul. Anyway, didn't really know how it worked or why it worked. And then more recently, we found neuroscience has been giving us a lot of clues. And particularly one study that I'm very interested in finding out more about and pursuing a lot more in a lot more detail, and the subsequent things that have followed was by Norman Farb at Toronto University, but way back in 2007, 10 years ago now. It's a long time in this world and this work. And basically, it was a clear distinction between what are called two forms of self-referencing. Self-referencing, in other words, how we reference or see ourselves in relationship to the world around us at a given point in time. And a lot of us use what's called narrative self-referencing most of the time. A good example of this is if you're sitting on a park bench, nothing much happening, no pressure to do anything or be anywhere, and you got time to just sit, right? Well, do you just sit? Probably not. If you're like most of the people in the world who self reference from what's called the narrative, you'll sit down on the park bench and in a little while your mind will start to engage in either the past, thinking about what's already happened that day or last year or 50 years ago, who knows how long ago. You'll start referencing the past, or you'll start thinking about the future. You know, like what am I going to have for dinner tonight, and where will we go on vacation, and those kind of things. So that's called narrative self-referencing. So you're referencing from a narrative, from a story that about things that happen in the past or things that happen in the future that nothing much to do with what's going on right now, real time. Now the other form, of course, is like present-centered self-referencing, referencing from the present moment, from awareness that is now. Like Ram Dass said many years ago in the title of the book, "Be Here Now." We're not good at that. We like to be here now on occasions, but most of the time we like to be in the past or the future, and we reference our default mode. In fact, is narrative self-referencing. So that was pretty exciting because I could see that the major peak experiences that I had, where I really engaged a different way of being and was able to reference from that, was when I got the clearest insights, when I got the kind of things that really mattered and made a difference in my life. So, as a practitioner and someone who's very interested in bridging the worlds of yoga, mindfulness, and psychotherapy, uh, what's really intrigued me is how can we guide people in an embodied process that helps this present-centered self-referencing. Now, but there's different forms of that too. Like, you can practice mindfulness where you're basically just sitting and watching your thoughts, which is great. That's one. That's a little further along than sitting there and thinking about the past or what you're going to have for lunch. But at the same time, you're often thinking about what you're thinking about. So you'll notice a thought, but you'll think about that. You'll notice another thought, and you'll think about that. So you're still engaging a cognitive process. You're still engaging a process of thinking. Not that that's bad. In fact, it's a great thing to do a lot of the time, and sometimes it'd be better if we did a lot more of it. But it is thinking. And of course, if you're really going to go into direct experience, particularly in an embodied experience, in the true definition of direct experience, there is no thinking happening at that time. And I think that is, I'm pretty sure, that is where I was when I had my most significant insights. So my quest is to refine the process that we use in the Phoenix Rising method in how we facilitate someone into that level of direct experience in their body in a way that's not intrusive, in a way that pretty much anybody can do it. And it's tricky. There's so many elements that are involved in facilitating that direct experience, right from just where I am as a practitioner and what what my intention is in working with this particular client. Because if I'm not really clear about that, I'll really muddy the waters and get it messed up. So that's my quest, and that's what I'm working on right now is how to really do a great job in facilitating this thing we call direct experience. So that's it for today. It's great to be awake, alive, and know what I'm doing today. Have a great day.